Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brownstone. I'm your host, Dr. Michele, and you're listening to Numbers Don't Lie. We learn to get out your feelings so you can make the best decisions for yourself, your family, and your business. Well, today, guys, I have a special treat because I try to put my reporter hat sometimes on, since I'm in this podcast world and I am an epidemiologist and I'm an advocate for public health. I try to get on stuff while it's hot because there's been a new trend happening lately. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing yet. It's just know it's a new trend. And some of you may have knowledge of it, some of you may not. It is called Ozempic, or for other people, GLP-1s, and that's the more the scientific definition for those types of drugs or medications. And it's just been an interesting train to just kind of watch take off because on one hand, it's been an answer prayer to a lot of people that struggle with their weight. It initially started out as a, diabetes medication, but they discovered that it helps you lose weight. I will go into more into that in the episode, but there's actually something else that came out, and we'll talk more about it as time goes by. As another consequence of it is they call Ozempic babies. So this thing is very interesting to watch in real time. Like, what a time to be alive, okay? But today I want to talk about another side of using drugs that are for diabetes or weight loss. Because I don't think a lot of people understand that, yes, it's good on one end, but when it's time to assess risk, and we're talking about life insurance here. That's what we're going to talk about today. When it's time to assess risk, it looks a lot different for them. So I wanted to bring in that perspective so that way, as you're making your decision of if this is something you want to do, you can make an informed decision because that's what data is. It helps you make your next best decision. So my next guest, he's very smart. He's in the insurance world. I know him from a business group or a business community that we're a part of. I used to be a part of finance team, Go Team Finance. I ventured off to the data side. We still overlap quite a bit, but I'm going to bring him up now. Please welcome to the Numbers Don't Lie stage, LaDarris Hunt.
Hey, Dr. Michele, thanks
Hey,
a lot for having
LaDarris.
me. I'm looking forward to this spirited conversation about Ozempic, and I hope to learn a lot from you, and hopefully you learn a lot from me.
You said spirited. I love it. I love it. And I hope that the listeners learn a lot because immediately when I thought about it, because I was in the finance world and I am a little more well versed probably than the average person in like the different type of financial vehicles. I immediately thought of this and I was like, I gotta get LaDarris on. So before we get too far, please let the people know who you are and like why you like they by the time you finish your intro, they're gonna understand why I had to have you.
So, my name is LaDarris Hunt. I've been in the insurance industry. I started in 1999, then left and came back in 2008. And I started in the captive world in 2008, and I became an independent agent in 2011. And I've been an independent agency owner since then. So I have over 15 years of experience in this field, specializing in property and casualty and life insurance as well.
Nice. So this is not somebody I found on the street, y'all. This man know what he doing,
Yep.
know what he talking about. So we're gonna dive right on in because I know people like, okay, I'm thinking about Ozempic. I know people is taking it. Like, what does this have to do with insurance? I'm glad you asked because by the end of this episode, you're gonna be able to make well-informed decisions. So before we get into the Ozempic talk, I just want to give, I always like to give information. I'm always concerned about generational wealth and the health of our community overall. So in the insurance world, like, do you know the number of people that are actually living without, since you do property and casualty and then life insurance, do you know about like an estimate of the Americans that are living without life insurance?
Yeah, so actually there's a study recently, and it was like between 42 to 48 million Americans do not have life insurance.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of us that do not. And I think that number might be a little bit low,
Mm-hmm.
but that's
Mm-hmm.
the data returned. And so it's very important that everyone has some type of policy, whether it's term to replace your income or whole life to bury you. Everyone needs some type of policy.
Mm-hmm.
Pass down generational wealth.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that part. Because like, why do you think people don't have it? You think it's a misconception of how much it costs, or they're just scared to have those
Um,
conversations?
so great question. I think it's two things. I think number one, costs. And then number two, to be transparent, in our community, we've had a very difficult time with life insurance and life insurance companies. And they have,
Mm.
to be transparent, have taken advantage of us. So a lot
Mm.
of us, we see our grandparents, great grandparents paying $15, $20 a month for 60 years. And then when they pass, they only have a $5,000 policy. And so when we look at that, we're like, well, this is a waste of time. Like, why would I buy this if this is the end result? So I think as agents, we have to do a better job of educating clients, providing them with the right type of coverage, the right type of policy,
Yeah.
and letting them know that it is honestly the easiest way to create generational wealth in your family through a life insurance policy.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I actually had Jeff, the wealth builder, on last year,
Okay.
during sometime last year, and he talked about that. That's how he ended up in insurance, and said the same thing happened to his mom about
Mm-hmm.
paying on this policy. And I can't imagine. Like, I would be mad too. But I mean, that's
Yeah.
just the history of the United States, taking advantage of people that don't necessarily know or understand, whether it be a racial thing or not. It's probably just an education thing, a capitalism thing more
Yeah.
than anything. But I totally hear what you're saying. But this is the reason why we have platforms like this. So if you were in that camp of, I've seen people get taken advantage of, this is a educated man that we're educating you right now for free, low cost, low risk for you to learn something. But by the end of this episode, you'll be able to connect with him. Or if you're watching it on like YouTube or wherever, you can always just go get his information to talk more about it with him, so you can get all the information. Because data just helps you make the next best decision. That's really all this podcast is doing, whether it's about business or life. We can't afford to go through life unaware anymore. Like, it's just too expensive at this point.
Very expensive. Very expensive.
Expensive to
And
not know.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We have to start diving in and getting educated on these various topics so we can make informed decisions for ourselves, but at the same
absolutely.
time, help our family members and friends make informed decisions. Because to be
Absolutely.
honest, that's what other communities are doing every single day. And that's
Yes.
what we're not doing.
Hmm.
So
I love it. So the moment that we've all been waiting for. So diabetes impacts about 38 million Americans, because we could go on and on about the importance of life insurance and all that stuff. Because I think by now most people know the importance of it. You already reiterated, because I'm not sewing it to any GoFundMe's. I'm just letting you know right now. So we're gonna let you use Google and look at other things, but you know the importance of it. So the purpose of today's episode is to talk about what this has to do with this whole Ozempic craze. So diabetes impacts about 38 million, or about 12% of the population. That's about the same number of Black people. Okay,
mhm.
12% of the population. And then, so one of the side effects of medications like Ozempic was weight loss. And it's, it looks like it's this miracle drug, honestly, because you have people that have been struggling with weight loss for like their whole life. And the only thing they had before was surgery. I had a friend that she ended up having like lap band surgery or staple or something. This was like maybe 5 or 7 years ago, because she's like, I've tried everything. And high blood pressure and diabetes runs in my family, and I do not want that. And so she went through with a major procedure to combat it. So up until this point, that seemed like the only thing that could help. But now there's this drug, something you can just take. I think it's an injection. You can just take it. And it's helping people that have not lost weight, struggle to lose weight, whether it's hormonal or genetic, or whatever it may be, lose weight. To the point, I don't know if you know this, but that they were like running out of stock of
Mm,
medication like Ozempic that was for diabetics. And so they're
mm.
having a hard time getting their medication, because you have people like, oh, I want to lose weight. I got a class reunion coming up. I'm trying to get snatched. That's the whole thing. I think that crisis may have been averted.
Yeah. That's wild though. The people that actually physically need it for their health are unable to acquire it because other people are using it for weight loss. That is insane.
It's insane. I mean, but it's one of those things of not really thinking of the full picture. like this, oh, this works, this is great. Let me prescribe this to my patients that have been losing weight, or it picks up, steam in the news. That's what happened. It picked up steam in the news, and now you got people reaching out. But it's just like you're not thinking of the large picture that this is a limited supply. Like it's not an infinite quantity of it. So it's just like your mind doesn't even think about that. Like, I know it works for me. I've been struggling with this. So anyway, that's for another day. Did you know that data-driven organizations were 19 times more profitable? 19. You heard me right. Perhaps you're asking, what is data-driven and how do I become one of those organizations? I'm so glad you asked. I want you to go take a quiz. It's a simple, quick quiz to help you assess if you are in fact one of those organizations. Head over to mogulbeginnings.com/data into dollars quiz now. That's mogulbeginnings.com. You can just go to mogulbeginnings.com and it'll show you the data into dollars quiz. Take it now. You'll see if you're on your way to 19xing your profitability. You're listening to Numbers Don't Lie on KCCR Cityscape. We hope you're enjoying the tunes and all the jams. Make sure you visit our website over at brownstoneworldwide.com to learn about all things Brownstone. You can check out Brownstone Living Magazine and all the great things that we have on the website, as well as the shop. You just got to head over to the website, brownstoneworldwide.com. Could you talk to us a little bit about how insurance companies, life insurance companies, assess risk when you come to say, hey, I want life insurance? Because I've had like testing and all that stuff done when I got life insurance some years ago. So could you talk to us about like why would I even be coming to you with this topic when it's talking about life insurance?
So whenever a life insurance company issues a policy, there's a thorough underwriting process. Okay. And part of that process is reviewing your medical history, right? And through the MIB report, Medical Information Bureau report. And then based on what's in your medical information report, they then either will ask for additional underwriting. So they're asked for your blood, your urine, and vitals. And then they'll actually pull your actual medical records to see what is on your record. And then obviously, if you have some type of chronic illness, it will impact your eligibility, one, or it will impact your actual rate. So when you are, say you're a diabetic and you have an A1C of over 9, that's going to impact your eligibility and your rate with that carrier. All right. And so if a insurance company sees, oh, you have Ozempic on your medical record, well, why do you have that? Do you have diabetes? That's going to more than likely cause them to ask for additional underwriting. And so that's really, something that you really have to take into consideration if you are trying to secure a policy. Do I want this on my record?
So I hope y'all put the pieces together, because I know like most of us are just regular consumers. We purchase life insurance. We don't necessarily know what happens behind. It's like, the Wizard of Oz. We don't know what happens behind the curtain. But when someone is going to say, I'm going to give you a large sum of money, they're going to want to know, how soon am I going to pay this out? Mm-hmm. And if you have like diabetes, I don't think people really understand how lethal diabetes is. In 2024, you have people that are living with HIV that live longer than people that have type 2 diabetes. Yeah, I don't think people understand that. Like, it's not like, oh, it's just diabetes. Like, it's very expensive. Like, I'm a for real epidemiologist. It's a very expensive condition to maintain, especially if it's uncontrolled. So if you're just not changing your diet, I have somebody in my family that's like that. I don't like fruits and vegetables. What? Already diagnosed. Doesn't want to change his diet. Hasn't really increased exercise. And if you continue down that path, we're looking at now getting into end-stage renal disease, losing limbs, going to dialysis. It gets very expensive. So when you go talk to somebody like LaDarris, and he said, okay, well, we're going to do all your checks and we're going to go through the usual procedure. And they see that you now have Ozempic and you just did it just because, oh, I wanted to lose weight. That's a signal in their system. I just wanted y'all to be aware that I don't think most people are thinking about that. That's a big picture thing. I just be knowing a lot of stuff with theirs, and I can
Yeah.
put pieces together very quickly.
Yeah. The data doctor. That's your genius. Yep.
I know. So, and just in your opinion, what are the implications of this? Because I don't know if this is going to, I don't know if this is a craze, like a temporary trend, or is it something we're going to see forever? Because again, before people had to get surgery, or they just had to live with their condition. Like, how do you see this interacting with the insurance world?
Well, with the insurance world, we are ever evolving, right? And so we are actually recently had a case where a client took Ozempic and it came up on the records, and the underwriter very simply asked, "Why are you taking Ozempic?"
Wow.
And the client responded, "Why?" And the underwriter accepted the reason, reviewed the medical history, saw that there wasn't no other symptoms for diabetes, and said, okay, we'll issue the policy and with no rate impact based on taking this drug. So in that case, it worked out fine. But in other cases, for some people, it may be a trigger to, okay, well, let's take a look at your medical records, and oh, you have this, that, and the third on there that you did not know. Well, now, because you have to take that exam, now we know that you have maybe high blood pressure and, some other chronic illness. So it's really, I'm not going to sit here and say you shouldn't do it, take it. That's a personal decision,
Right.
but you should understand the impact that it may have in this case on your ability to purchase life insurance and get a affordable policy with a large enough death benefit, because obviously the death benefit triggers the dollar amount, right? And so you don't want to be table rated where the insurance company has the ability to add additional premium to your policy because of some type of health issue you may have.
Yeah, man. But that is still good news that is taken case by case and not like a blanket thing. Well, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
We don't know, but hopefully that continues to be the trend. But I love that you said that, like, just being able to be informed. And that's another reason why I've heard insurance agents say, like, get it while you're still young and healthy.
Yes.
You're never going to be as healthy today.
Never.
Like, ever. So, like, even if you have one condition, it's not going to get better.
Never, ever. Like, even on your children, the earlier you get it, the better you're going to be long term, because our health will decline.
Yeah, that's good. So when we think about what this medication is supposed to do, whether you're taking it for your diabetes medication, because I do know someone that has type 2 diabetes, took it, lost weight, but she was just taking her medication for her condition. And thinking about what it's for, do you see it being, is it any better off than like the bariatric surgeries out there? Does it look any different or better on their health record?
That's a great question. Like I mentioned before, I'm not really an expert on this. So I do believe, I honestly believe everybody has the right to live in a happy lifestyle. And if they feel as though they are unhappy with their body and they have for years tried these various things and with no results, to make them happier, if they want to take Ozempic, let's take it. But you have to make an informed decision. You have to understand the risk involved. The only concern that I would have with Ozempic is that we don't know the long-term effects this is going to have on our bodies. A relatively new drug, right? So although they've tested it for a while, we still don't know. We all know that there's always commercials 20 years from now where, if you took Ozempic, you may have XYZ. So just make sure that you've done the research, and understand that there are risks involved. But as we know, most of us are blinded by our decisions. We want to see the end result and we don't care about the road to get there. Right? And unfortunately, sometimes that road gets a little bumpy when we get there, and I'll be like, oh, damn, this is where I'm at. So Me personally, like I said, I'm an advocate of doing whatever you want to do to make
Mm-hmm.
yourself happy. But understand, you have to understand the risk. As an insurance agent, that's all I do is manage risk all day, and you have to understand the risk. And hopefully, these doctors that are prescribing this medication are giving these patients a thorough overview of the drug, so they can be comfortable with the risk, because there are
Mm-hmm.
going to be risks with any drug you take. There's going to be some
Right.
side effects. I mean, literally, this is a side effect of a drug. Like,
Yeah.
it was not originally intended for this. So just know that there are risks, and you have to be able to make an informed decision as to whether or not you are comfortable taking this risk.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. So when it comes time to making these decisions and like talking to someone, how like what advice do you give for people that are interested in life insurance and they may have health conditions or some different things on their record? Like what advice should like what type of person should they be talking to? Because I would hate for it to be I'm talking to somebody that doesn't really understand this stuff and they're just kind of signing me up and something that's gonna benefit them. You know what I mean?
Mhm. So one of the things that I learned, again, I have a unique perspective because I used to work for a captive carrier, which means I can only offer one product. And now I'm an independent carrier where I have over 100 different carriers to work with. And what
Wow.
I found in my 15 years in the independent world is that, or 12 years in the independent world, there's a carrier that will accept your health. Like, even if
Mm-hmm.
I have clients that have had HIV and they've got accepted. We have some clients that were able to get coverage with early stage cancer. And there are a number of clients that have diabetes and high blood pressure. There's a carrier for everyone. You just have to work with the right agent that has access to multiple carriers
I
that can
like that.
shop it around for you and find the carrier that's right for you.
That's good. So, so should they be asking, are you an independent provider or do you only just
Yes.
have these one or two products here?
Yes, you want to know how many carriers do you have access to, and whatever your health condition is, have you ever insured someone with this condition?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, don't let me be your test case.
Yeah, absolutely. I need more test cases. Come on. Yeah. But yeah, that's right though. You don't, you kind of don't want to be like working with someone that doesn't understand like how to speak to underwriters and how to paint the picture, because at the end of the day, that's what we do. We paint the picture to the underwriter, right? And so if I know up front the issues that you have, I can type up a nice little letter and I can go by what medications they're taking, what precautions are they taking with their health as far as their diet, their
Oh, that's
exercise.
good.
We can do all of that on the upfront underwriting. So we give it to the underwriter and we're literally painting the picture for them. Like,
Wow.
and they love that when you have that letter up front, because you're doing all the due diligence on on the front end. There's less work they have to do on the back end. So they can just look at the letter, review the underwriting report, review the medical report. I mean, and they can make an informed decision fast, as opposed to having to jump through all these hoops of getting medical records, etc. So it's always best you want to work with a agent that understands the underwriting relationship, as well
Mm-hmm.
as you have to be truthful with your agent. A
That's
lot of
good.
times people don't want to disclose their health because they know they have some type of health ailment and they know the rate is going to be high. But if you work with the independent carrier, there literally are carriers that will specifically insure your situation, right? You just have to be upfront and honest with the agent and say, hey, this is what I have. This is how long I've had it. This is the medication I'm on. This is my diet. Can you help me? And nine
That's
times out of
good.
10, it's a good agent that has multiple access to multiple carriers. They may be able to find it for you. Now, the price may be a little bit higher because of the nature of the ailment,
Yeah.
but that, I mean, again, the insurance company is taking on the risk of insuring
Mm-hmm.
you, right? And providing your family with a substantial financial reward in the event you pass away. So they're going to want some type of compensation on their end to fulfill that obligation.
Wow. Okay. This is out of curiosity because you were talking about the letters and all that stuff. How bad is it? And I still can't believe in 2024 people smoke cigarettes. How bad does it look when you're a smoker?
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's terrible. Like you literally, I had one client, uh, who was this? It was like last month. She on the application said non-smoker, right? And for like 400,000 in coverage, it was $50 per month. Took the blood and urine, and there was a trace of nicotine. Yeah, it went up to $90, right? So we had to have that conversation with her, like, what is this in your system? And it turned out that once or twice a year, she smoked cigars. You know, cigars have a trace of nicotine in them. And so she admitted, like, once or twice a year, I smoke cigars, but it's not like I'm doing it every day. So I had to communicate that to the underwriter. The underwriter had her sign a form saying a smoker release form saying she doesn't smoke cigarettes, and she signed it, and they were able to get the policy issued at the original rate. But
Wow.
yeah, smokers are hit the hardest because, as you know, lung cancer is, it's nothing to play with. And from a risk perspective, they understand that you have a high probability of contracting lung cancer if you're a heavy smoker. And so, yeah, they're gonna tax you heavily. Now, the cool thing about it though is I've actually had clients who received the smoker rate, and then after 10 years, they say, "Hey, LaDarris, I no longer smoke. Can I get my rate adjusted?" Okay, let's do another blood and urine and vital to confirm there's no nicotine in your system. And literally about 3 years ago was the last time it happened. One of my clients had his premium reduced
Wow.
by getting the smoker rating removed. So it's not a death sentence. It's not permanent. If you in the future decide you no longer want to smoke and you cut smoking and you do it for a substantial amount of years, you can get your rate lowered.
I just learned something new. So I know you guys did. But I just want to say smoking is not just the cause of lung cancer. It's like
Right.
all cancers. And
Mm-hmm.
almost all chronic diseases can be traced back to people that smoke have higher incidences of almost everything. So I just I don't get it. Just
I
stop
don't get it
smoking.
either, but it's
Stop
their
smoking.
personal decision. So I let people have their personal decision.
You just gonna pay for it. But that's
Right.
all I'm gonna
Don't be
say.
around me with it.
Because you pay for the health insurance too. Those rates are doubled as well. So you
Mm-hmm.
can, like you said, you can do what you want to do, but you just gonna pay for it.
Yep.
And with that said, LaDarris, please let the people know how to find you because I know you just taught them. You schooled me, so I'm sure you told them something they didn't know. Then you coming across as an expert and someone that can help them help navigate this because that's death is something scary to think about.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you seem like a very nice, compassionate person to have this type of conversation with. So you can please tell the people how to find you.
So you can reach me on all social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at LaDarris Hunt. That's LaDarris Hunt. HUNT. And also I can reach on the web at LaDarrisHunt.com. Again, LaDarrisHunt.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, LaDarris. I know I have enjoyed this conversation. I learned something new. I know the leaders did as the readers and listeners did as well. So make sure you connect with LaDarris, and you can find me, Dr. Michele, on all things Mogul Beginnings. That's MOGUL, Mogul Beginnings. I'm on the one of my guests said the old social media. I'm on the old social media, some of the new. I'm on TikTok as well, but I just like to watch on TikTok. I don't really post too much. It's just fun and games over there.
Oh, it is funny games.
But make sure you connect with me. And then make sure you connect with the Brownstone. You can visit us on brownstoneworldwide.com. We got articles, we got news, we have a magazine, things you can actually purchase. They have like Brownstone Marketplace deals all the time. So connect with us on brownstoneworldwide.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you so much, LaDarris, for educating us. It's been
Thank
a
you for having
pleasure.
me.
I love learning new things. So have a great rest of your day, guys. And until next time.